Good morning, everyone. Sorry if I still sound a bit scratchy, because I am still a bit scratchy with a bit of a cough. But let's lower the volume on the music a little bit, so maybe you can hear me a lot clearer. You can switch to our main screen. To recap yesterday, we were making a chair, which I have more or less finished. I still need to clean up the model, and we need to do the UVs, the high poly, etc. Then we have to pack the UVs, but I want to pack it with another prop as well. We're going to do a table. I wonder if it's a good idea to pack both of these, but it's probably what we're going to do. I'm sort of curious if we should split some of the mirrored objects on here. Like we'll just bake one of these. We'll just have one of these in the texture, then we'll just mirror it over. Same with the legs and same with these spindles and stuff. Just to save us some room on our texture sheet so we can have more high quality textures. I know there'll be repetition, but it will look a lot better. Yeah, I'm wondering if we should probably do that. Would be the wisest thing to do. I still feel like the music's still a little loud, but well, that's our test model. Maybe that's a bit better. Yeah, so I apologize if I start coughing or something. It's very annoying, but it's that time of year, isn't it? There's not much I can do about it. So today, I mean, it's a very simple model. It's a table. I have my size reference. This is actually from another pack that I did make. I'll bring it up. I can bring it over here, if it'll let me. Ah, there we go. Better. So this is from... It's from Residential Houses, but there's also a separate pack for it. It's one of the tables here, and I'm just using it as a size reference because all these props are scaled for the Unreal Engine mannequin, which is a very good size reference to go off because that's the general size of every character that is inside Unreal Engine. So, you know, the table height here is just perfect for a chair to go underneath and for someone to sit on that chair and be at that table. And instead of getting actual height measurements of this particular table, I just opted to scale it to the height of the table that I've already made. It's a little cheat, but I feel that way then when I do put it into the engine, it all feels right. I'm not quite sure how excuse me, I'm not quite sure how wide or deep we want to make this table. Maybe I will get some sizes from this reference. I do have it open here. It's a table from Etsy. I found this awesome seller that has some very nice pictures of every angle of their pieces of furniture. The only thing about these is they're like perspective shots, so you don't get a really good side-on view of them. This is the best one where I got least amount of perspective on the leg. So what I've done is I've lined that leg up here, so the top of this here with this leg here, so I can model the leg at least, and then the rest we can figure out from there. It's the best way to do it if you don't have the exact measurements of what you're making. I mean, here it does list them because it is like a shopping item. I don't really like converting inches. Here in the UK we use centimeters or millimeters. inches and feet and stuff really confuse me, so I have to do a conversion there, and they're not. I don't find them as quite as accurate. Console, hey, he says hello. Hi, hope you're having a good day. I am back. I've been busy this past week. And I did mention in the last stream, next week, from Tuesday, I have my dad is visiting me. I don't know how much he'll get in the way, but I don't think I'll be really streaming then. And then from Friday next week, I am flying away for my Christmas break, and I'm gone for 3 weeks, visiting family in Italy, no less, which is going to be quite fun. I haven't been to Italy in a long time. Anyway, we're going to start by making this leg, which is basically a modified cylinder. So bringing in a cylinder. I'm going to start with the bottom first, so I want to make the scale. Let's move this picture over just slightly. I think it's misaligned a little bit. What a cheap table. Yeah, just like £2,000, was it? £2,300. It says it's a rare find. That's funny. Like, all the furniture I've looked up, like, are incredibly expensive. I think the chair was like 1,000 or something. Excuse me. It's so funny. I wish I had like a giant 3D printer and print it out for less than 2,000. Oh, sorry, I still have like a bit of coffee from this morning. I'm just I want to finish it. Right. So I want this section first. Beef that out. Let's combine it first. Ooh, I should turn on my key things. For some reason it always turns this off. So you should be able to see what keys I am pressing. So I'm not going to talk about exactly every key that I press. I'm more or less going to try get the same shape. It might not be exactly the same shape, but I just want to get the general shape of this piece, just so it mimics it as closely as possible. I'm not recreating a car or something, for example. As long as it looks like a classic table, I think I'll be quite happy with that. So I don't have to be so precise, because it's my table and I can do what I want with it. But I do want to capture like as much of these details as possible. You can make smaller chunks and print like Lego. Smaller chunks of a chair or a table, pretty like I mean, like a leg at a time. You know, I make a lot of 3D models. I think it would be quite fascinating if I did buy a 3D printer, like had like a miniaturized set. Make all these town buildings. I don't know if anybody's watched Beetlejuice, where he has like the whole model of the town in his attic. Like I could get like one of my Unreal Engine scenes and like 3D print it and have like a little. I don't know why I would want to do that. I'm not like a not like one of those kind of people who have like model making. I'm trying to think of the word. It's like a Hornby train set, I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun to have something that I made on a computer be physical in my hand. Right. It's not 100% straight because of the perspective or whatever else, and it's an old table. Mm. Sorry. Coffee's done now. We can focus. We can focus. Maybe that needs to be beefed out just slightly so we can smooth it better. It seems to like taper out and then taper in again. Oh dear. Just do another one of these. Did I merge? I always have to merge because when I do the bevels, I do it by clamp. So when it hits another edge, and then they're touching each other, so then you have to merge them again. Ooh, what is going on there? That's odd. Excuse me. I don't know why it's doing that. That's funny. Oh, there's like a face inside it. Huh. Excuse me? That's weird. What a weird... Let's fix that. How weird. I don't think Blender is behaving this morning. But this can happen. It looks like there's like multiple faces and... Yeah, let's get rid of that. And then let's flip that. Okay, I think I've got it now. That was odd. Where's my picture? It was very odd. Okay, it should be working now. What? It's so fascinating what can happen when you make stuff. It's just... Huh? Why did you do that to me? I think that's too thick as well. Hang on. Okay. Let's get back on track on this. That's better. I think there's another one that's almost identical as this one. I think we should squish it slightly. No, don't flip it. Merge it by distance. Okay. Right. Well, let's continue up the leg, which is a weird sentence to say. Let's see if there's a closer picture of this. Okay, there is. It's just goes like that, goes like that. I think we should copy this one. So I'm going to get the selection. Then I'm going to copy it up. And let's snap it on there. Then we weld it together. So these are identical. Okay. Very easy. It's a lot of... Let's select both of these so we can do them in unison. There you go. That's got the general shape of that now. And it's not 100% perfect. I'm not going for accuracy, like I said. But I wanted to get it as good as I can. I think this top bit kind of gets a bit weird because it's like a cylinder to a cube. I need to wrap around my head how I can do that without... Let's put like 3 on there, I think. There we go. Let's think about how we can do that without making it too complicated. I think if I put a cube on top of it... I think if you see here, flat faced, and then you got this nice bevel, and then you've got like this curved bevel up like that. Ooh, this is going to be a fun task. I think if we make a cube, so add mesh cube. I can hide this table as well, it's in my way. I think if we can put that on top of it. My leg looks a bit thick as well. Might want to thin it as well. We'll scale that later. It's really down to my reference being a bit poor, because we've got like a side angle of it. And let's separate the cube from this. Let me have a look at the comments because there's a few people talking today. I plan to buy one when I move into it, and I'm assuming you're talking about a 3D printer. I plan to buy one when I move into my new apartment. After renovating it, I have a few ideas of tools I want to print to help me next time. Ooh, interesting. I've never done it before. I've never done 3D printing before. I just thought it'd be kind of fascinating to do just for a bit of fun. I mean, it seems like it's improved a lot. There's some really good ones, and there's so many different types. I just don't know which one would be the easiest for someone who's not very experienced with them. How much does it approximately take you to make an entire UE environment pack? It looks like a huge amount of course fun work. Well, let's put into consideration that where are my things? This pack, the Town Stores pack, took me 6 months, I think, of work. Yeah, I think it was 6 months. But, you know, I'm kind of like working at a gentle pace. I'm not stressing myself. I'm not working overtime. I'm having quite lax days. So if I was like going full bolt, but then again I can't because I become almost creatively bankrupt and exhausted. And when you're working on something for so long, you do not want that exhaustion to kick in so early. It certainly does in the end, I tell you. Like when you're getting towards the end of a project, you're like, I certainly feel like I just want to move on. I don't know why that comes up. That's weird. Anyway, I certainly feel like I want to move on, and it's just, you know, you just kind of like, you get to a point, yeah, I can say that's done and just try to kick it out. But it does take a long time, and it does take a long time to, you know, it has to live in your mind for a long time. Like this church building is taking a lot longer than I I anticipated anyway. I just doing some nice props for it because I feel like it needs some just fleshing out. But is taking a lot longer than I ever thought. After every project, I love to take just like a week off, just to reflect and breathe, and then just think about what I'm going to do next. Because the next step or the next pack is always going to be, You know, it's like, well, what should I spend the next potentially 6 months of my life doing next? Yeah, it's tough. Now I'm trying to think how we can do these corner bevels. I wonder. It's like that, but this needs to be flat. Tell you what. This is quite hard, actually. Kind of goes like that. And I feel like these need to be like from here. Need to be like 0.25. Maybe a bit more. It's more like with an arch like this. I'm not quite sure how we can make that. I mean, that's kind of close. Maybe with a bit more cut lines. Yeah, I will say like trying to take on making an entire environment on your own, especially, is very difficult. It's not the greatest doing everything on your own. Can I bevel these as well? Did I do that by 0.3? There's some errors going on here which I don't like the look of. It's almost the same. I don't quite like it though. This is where I get stumped. It seems like a relatively easy. I don't need to slice it actually. Seems like a relatively easy bit to do, but I wonder if I just do it with a Boolean. 6 months, dang. Props to you. Do the breaks help with your staying motivated, or are you not struggling with a lot of finding motivation? Can you working on such a large scene? You know what? Finding motivation to work each day and get up each day is probably the toughest part of the job. I work at home, and I can get easily distracted if I wanted to, you know, by anything. And a lot of things do distract me. And to have like a project that takes so long to make, and then you can towards the end, like I say, or like you mentioned, like your motivation can kind of go down. You just have to persevere, because at the end of the day, if I don't make something, I won't make any money, for one thing, and it's a job at the end of the day. What I do find is if you because you got to commit so much time to one thing, do something that you want to do. Do something that you actually like doing. Don't do something because you don't like doing it, or you think that, oh, this will be way more profitable in marketplace. Do something you want to make, because you will spend a lot of time with it. It'll become like you'll have a relationship with it, which is a weird way of saying it, but you will have a relationship with your assets. This will be your life for that period of time. So I want to work on this. That's why I'm doing it. Not necessarily I'm doing it because I think it'll be most profitable. Not always, anyway. I don't like this piece, honestly. It's just so difficult, but that looks way too fat. There's probably a million ways to do this, and I'm probably doing it the wrong way. I was thinking of just collapsing it and then trying to fix it myself by hand. Look at that. What a flipping mess. I wonder if I put cut lines underneath it. Almost. No. Awful. Do you know what? Let's keep this. Let's try it again. Let's try a different approach. Let's make it relatively the same size. Let's try. Let's try this. By the way, feel free to pick my brain on anything. I'll try read your comments and give you as much insight into what I do as I can. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to bevel this. Oh, I need a more extreme bevel, to be honest. Something like 6 or 8. And then go up like that. No, less. Then I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just imagining it working in my head. Then let's put a bevel on it. At least then we have some control. Sorry I'm being quiet. I'm just trying to suss how we can make this shape without doing anything too super complex. It's not going in my favor. This is too close to that, isn't it? Yeah, that's what's causing that. Might have to fudge it by hand. So, like, because that's getting like my curve that I almost want. And these top bits need to be... It's on angle, that's why. We need it on weight. That's why it was being naughty. Hang on. I'm going to get it as close as I can. And be like, that'll do. Is the top not aligned correctly? I'll fix that. It's not. Whoops. My bad. There we go. Why that's not thinner. Tell you what, don't bevel these. So strange. Weird behavior. Like, all or nothing. I wonder if I can bevel that after the fact. Not really, not easily. And it needs more than one, doesn't it? Ah, maybe that's why I wasn't doing it. No? It's not the reason. Gig. Should have made that 6. Yeah, that'll make it easier. I don't know if this is going to work. Probably not. It's almost like that, and then I need to clean up the bottom there. Yeah, I can do that. I could work with that. There's probably an easier way of doing this, which is really annoying. Oh, which way is it mirroring? It's not this one. It's this one. So I just have to do one corner and I'm good on all of them. Right. Kind of want to just get rid of like this bottom. Is what we want to do. So like this middle section here where everything's kind of screwed up. I wonder if this will work. Again, I'm just experimenting here. I don't think there's no right or wrong answer, is what I'm trying to say. There's only a better answer. I don't think I have the better answer. That's fine. Not everyone has to be perfect, do they? Right, I was thinking doing just something like that and then just bridging the rest. I feel like this bottom bit, though, needs to fan out. Just... maybe? Because it's in line with them. It's almost like this bit has to kind of close, actually. That's what's going on here. I need to make these kind of come together to form into this corner. Yeah, we do, don't we? Wonder if you have to do that kind of gradually as well. So we do it like really to the point on this. And then we do it like Y1 here. Ooh, that's a horrible geometry down there. Eek. Ick. To sort of fix that. I'm telling you, there's definitely a better way of doing this. So what I'm doing right now is kind of criminal. Great working attitude, man. Do you usually create unique textures for props like these, or do you use a trim sheet? For this, I'll use unique textures. There's certain things I will use trim sheets for. Some things I have as well. Like, you can do a trim sheet for a table chair or something, but I think I'll make a unique texture for this one. Trim sheet would be nice though, wouldn't it? Like I said, I'll probably just like do one leg. And then, you know, duplicate that across. God, this is awful though. This is not fun. This shape is not fun. Shouldn't have beveled this bottom. I might just destroy that bottom. And like remodel the bottom bit. We're just going to fan it out like this. By exactly the same amount on each end. I think we're getting close to the shape we want. I'm trying to make it even on each side so it doesn't look stupid. Yeah, and I think I'm going to completely remove the bottom and recreate it. Select it, okay. I didn't really appreciate what I was doing there. It was messy and reckless. It's kind of I mean, I am live streaming, I'm aware of that. Which is kind of embarrassing sometimes. Because you get to see me make mistakes and do things that maybe it's the unconventional. Is that embarrassing? I'm not sure, but I think you get my point though. It's kind of, I feel like every person who does 3D modeling has like this attitude of like, you know, you only see like their finished piece and everyone's like, that looks amazing. It's like, well, what was the road like to get to there? What mistakes did you make? What was what could have you done differently? Because each model's, I always find I learn something out of it. You learn something completely different, like a different approach, a different way of doing things. It's like if you were to draw a portrait of someone you know, if you keep repeating it, You'll figure out like where you made a mistake and you'll make it better. You'll get better as you go along. And it's the same with this. I think it's exactly the same with this. Plus, technology moves so fast as well. There's always something new to play with. There's always something new to look at. I'm going to move it along this. Does this factor make a difference? I am really doing this by hand. Which a lot of people wouldn't do. So I'm just finding it quite hard to get the shape that I want by using controls. I think in the end what I'll have is something I want exactly. So kind of like curve out that way to a point this way that goes into a bevel that way, which goes into a cube that way. We can drag this down, I think. Get rid of those bevel lines. That looks better. We only need to do one corner. Ooh, there's somebody at the door. Hold on, guys. Be right back. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me go back to the main screen. Yeah, sorry about that. Someone, well, it was my friend. She dropped off a Christmas present and a Christmas card because she was in town, which is really nice. But you know, when you answer the door to someone you know, and then and you're just talking and you just ramble on. So hopefully, I wasn't gone for too long. It seems like there's some comments I need to catch up on. Danny asks, "Don't think it's embarrassing. This is very relatable." Haha. Of my weird smudging of model making. Yeah, it's like scratching your head and trying to figure it out, and then making something, and then looking at it and deleting it, and just trying to reiterate. Yeah, I mean, I think I can't describe the words. Let me think. It's like there's something wrong with that as well, actually. Excuse me. You're out of position. Let's try and make it look as even as we can. I was going to say I sometimes feel like I've got imposter syndrome, where you know that's how I feel sometimes when I'm doing these things. I'm sure a lot of people do feel the same. Even like the best people at their jobs feel the same. Because I get people say, "Oh, your work is really good," and this and that. And I'm like, "Is it?" Sometimes, I mean, it's great, sure, but I see all these talented people online who are just absolutely fantastic at what they do, and I really appreciate their work. And I'm like, I'll never be as good as them. But then you get some of them say how good your stuff is. It's just that's the feeling. And when you're doing it live, it's like you're kind of seeing all the cracks. But I think everybody gets through all these issues. It's just they do it in private. This is what we wanted to do. We wanted to do that. That doesn't look completely flat, so I'm going to flatten it as well. Also, I feel like I've said it before. Everyone has different methods of doing things, and there's a million ways of doing one certain thing. Like the way I'm modeling this is there's countless other ways that people might approach it, and one way might be better than the other. It doesn't mean that they're less correct. That looks very thick on top. It's what's really irritating me. Does it stick out that much? It kind of does. I think the whole leg needs to be just thinned. Or maybe the top of this needs to be... it just looks a bit off to me. I'm going to use it with a lettuce, though. Create a lettuce. And then we want to get... not those cut lines. We want it down the middle. No, no. I always think it's like U, V, W. What does that even mean? So I always forget. I don't want to keep the bottom the same. Let's see if that works. Kind of works. Your little 0.94. Oops. I think I've got it. That looks a little bit better to me. The whole leg looks a bit chunky. It's like a pool table. Because like looking at this and looking how thin that top is, it's like mine's almost double the thickness. But it's just the perspective, which is really annoying. I'm going to see if I can get a different picture which has a... So I think I saved one. Hold on, I'll read your thing in a second. Danny says, oh yeah, 100%. I've seen... Sorry, I'm really bad at reading this morning. I've seen some of my old classmates turn in a AAA artist. I hate that there's a little love heart in the way there. It's hard not to compare yourself to your peers. I elegantly read that out. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel sometimes as well. I mean, I actually did a university course in computer games design. Not art, but in design. And, you know, I kind of felt the same way back then. And even like when I was working on a game as well, it was an indie game, but still, you have people saying like how good stuff was of yours, but I'd always compare myself to everybody else. I mean, it's normal. You do that in everything in your life. Everybody compares themselves, not even just in their work life, but in personal life and everything in between. See, now the proportions seem completely different on that. But we're just going to focus on the thickness. I think it needs to go maybe like that. Maybe a little bit like 0.8. It's close. It's not perfect. It's close. And I think it'll still look just as good. Does it need to be perfect? It's a good question. Nothing needs to be perfect. Does it look good? Yes. Then that's fine. Let's just add these bevels so our smoothing looks really nice. I want it less than that though. Even less. Smooth, 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 smooth. Where are we? It's a leg. See, this table's only made up of like 3 different components. Essentially. You got this long plank of wood, you got the top, and you got a leg. And that's probably the only things I'm going to include in the texture. What shall I start with first? How big do we want this table? All these questions. I wonder if we should make it the same size as the actual table. As in the one I'm modeling off. And then put it into Unreal Engine and see how we go. The only issue is like inches. Don't agree with me. Jesse Squire asks, is the goal to eventually make a low poly model to bake the details in, or is it just a nanite focused asset? It's a nanite focused asset. I will put in high poly. I'll just literally just subdivide it, and I will bake it with some ambient occlusion and curvature just to help me with the texturing. But everything I'm doing for this project is for nanite, and I'm always like thinking like, am I using too much? Am I using too little for it? But I find like if you go in the mid between like a low poly asset you would do traditionally, and a high poly asset you would do for a bake, and just go in the middle grounds, that's a good target to have for a nanite mesh. I think. Because I was watching. I can't pronounce his name. It's Will Foucher or William Foucher. I don't know if I pronounce his last name correctly, but he's released like an asset for a shader that uses like nanite tessellation, which is new to 5.3, which I haven't touched myself because you have to put a console command in it, and I can't expect everybody to do that for an asset pack. I'm waiting for it to be more of an official release before I use nanite tessellation, but that must put a lot of triangles, like, because I remember the old nanite demonstration they did on a PlayStation 5 when they first showed it off. They had a triangle per pixel. A triangle per pixel, which is flipping insane. You can go wild, basically. You can be more liberal, is what I'm trying to say. You can be a bit more flaky with it. Just because that's where the technology's at. And I want to keep this future proof. If nanite is going to be the way forward, then I am going to stick with that. If that's going to be the technology of the future, I'm going to pursue it, because that's where everything's heading. And I know we haven't had like the best examples of games that have been released using that technology as its core, but I feel like you'll see it more and more and more and more and more until it becomes like standard, or even just high quality meshes overall. This is why I'm going in the middle of the road with this thing. You could go completely ridiculous, but I think that's completely ridiculous. You're still constraining with how much memory you can put on a disc. You're still constrained with textures. I think textures is your number one constraint. This is why I don't really like 3D scans, because they're just blah. They're just horrible, aren't they? Like UVs and stuff. Anyway, what else do you ask? Oh, he's great. I think you got the name right. Oh, did I get the name right? William Foucher. If he's in here and he's gonna correct me, that'll be hilarious. But I don't think he will be. I don't know. I don't think William Foucher has me on his radar. But he's got some good stuff. I really like his videos. I love his content. I don't know why I'm gushing about him right now. He's like one of the top dogs in my eyes. Yes, it's the one he released a couple days ago. He uses like 3D scan stuff, materials. I didn't even know you could do vertex painting with nanite meshes. I had no idea you could do that until he did it. But the caveat was that you can't do it on instance meshed. So if you had like one, he shows like he had one pillar, and when he applied the vertex paint with a nanite mesh, it applied it to all the pillars in the scene. Whereas traditional vertex paint, it will just apply it to that one instance, and you can do it different for each one. So you have to like duplicate meshes, which is fine for an art piece, for a picture, for a little video you're gonna make. But for a video game, nah, no. You don't want to be doing that. Yeah, free scans look pretty on the mesh, but are a nightmare to work with UV wise. Yes, because that's all I found. And until they like raise the constraint of texture mapping, like UV space and VRAM, you know, that ceiling needs to still be broken through. I feel like geometry is broken through, but VRAM is not yet. You need to be smart with your materials, I think. What was I going to do? I was going to convert inches to centimeters. Because I'm not American. So we've got a width of 36 inches. It's about 92. So 0.92. That's the width of the... Oh, it only has width. Okay, depth as well. Okay, I'm not retarded. I'm not stupid. 55 centimeters. Add mesh cube 0.55. Not. Okay. It seems like a small table, to be honest. Maybe we'll make it a bit bigger. Oops. We want that piece. We don't want that, though. Okay. We can sort of see how thick this bit of wood is by just... Oops. By estimating from our reference. .54. What are you referencing there? I think you're talking about inches or something. Sorry, Jesse, I don't know what that's what you're referring to there. I think you're talking about inches and feet and squares and stuff or whatever. Can't we all just work in centimeters? Can't we all just work in centimeters and millimeters? I don't understand feet. It's so inaccurate. Feet and inches is so inaccurate. It's so funny. We do like centimeters here, but then when we're measuring TVs, we do it in inches. Why? Okay, apparently that's how big this table is. It's tiny. We need a bigger one. I'm going to have to measure one in the engine. I think if we put a guy next to something and measure our own one and make it as big as we want it. What am I looking for? Ah. Looking in my tool belt. My tool belt of tools. Okay, we'll just let that load. One centimeter equals 2.54 cent. Oh, 1 inch equals 2.5 centimeters. 2.54. Why is it 2.54? Ah. It's annoying. Work in millimeters. It's more accurate. It's so much easier. Okay. It's so funny. I put all these mannequins around. I was just checking the scale of everything. See if people fit in. I think if anybody watched me yesterday, that's what I was gushing about. Because we have our... Anyway, we have our chair. We wanted like a little table, didn't we? We kind of wanted it on the altar. Like up here. Like a table at the back. And have some chairs like around. And maybe put like a cloth on them as well. Which I can do, actually. That'll be really nice. Like a nice cloth over like a stack of chairs and tables and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to use the Blockout Tools, which is an amazing plugin. I don't know what I'd do without this thing. Kind of want it... something like that, I don't know. Let's put that inside. Come here. Come here. Okay, I think I'll keep the same depth as the other table. The one I measured. But then, like, the length this way. What is that? Is that 89? No. It's fucking... okay, it's 2 meters. It's 2 meters, 2 meters. So let's do that. 2. Let me read. Danny says, maybe it's one of those tables people have close to the front door to toss their keys on. I have one of those tables. Haha, the UE standard guy preacher. Yeah, right. I have this pack where you can have like different poses, which is really cool. It's nice to see like people using your furniture and interacting with stuff. What else did we say here? Because the Imperial system sucks. I agree, metric is better. Yes, it is. The audience has spoken. We vote for metric. It's just so much more of a joy to use. All right. Let's make this 2 meters. What's the thickness of this? This is like 87. And Unreal Engine units are centimeters as well. It's so much easier to convert in my brain. And the default metrics in Blender are meters. I know you can change it. But every time I change it and then start a new file, it sometimes changes back. So I just keep it and I just do the conversion in my head. It's so easy. Just move a decimal point. I'm not very good at maths, but I can move a decimal point. Oh, it's almost like double that, isn't it? Okay. We should probably put this in the middle. Set origin, volume. And then let's put our leg where we need it. Should be in this corner. What if we should be accurate with it? So we move it out by about that much. We want it minus, we want it the other way. Okay. Then we can reset the transforms and we can mirror it. I think the leg is outside the bounds of the bottom of half of the table. Ignore me. You've got it correct. Okay. I have the leg correct. It's like that. Maybe it needs to go in a bit more. Like looking at the picture here, there's a bit more of a lip. Maybe. By like minus 0.015. 0.015. Okay, so 0.015. Maybe something like that. That looks about right. Put our plank in. Yeah, let's do that. Add mesh cube. Actually, I kind of want the plank to be the same thickness as this, and because I didn't measure it, let's just steal this and then rotate it. And then put it into a position we want. About here. Move that up. Let's get this end as well. Sweet. Maybe it needs to be a bit thinner under here. It looks so chunky. Ooh. Wrong side. Let's move it up. There we go. We can mirror that across that way. I'm wondering. Just thinking how we want to. Oh, that's wrong. Oops. Go away. I'm thinking how we want to bake this. I think we'll cross that when we, when we come to it. We'll figure that out when we come to it. I think we should get this low mid version done, then just make the high poly, and then figure out what we want to UV afterwards, like how we want to do it. I mean, I have ideas in my head to try and maximize as much UV space as possible, because obviously they're just repeating elements. Like for instance, this piece, we can just cut one of these in half and just stick it there, and just use the same UV space. And I think under the table you can just like shrink the UV there, because you're not going to see it 90% of the time. Do you know about the shortcut keys, a rotation move? I noticed you're using the gizmo to rotate, snap, move, and all that. No, just keep tiny bit quicker to do big rotations. Hey, what? If you hit R, let me have a look at this. Ah. Well, I like the gizmo. I like something physical to touch. If you hit R and then X. I don't know. I'm so used to just touching the gizmo, because I do agree with you though. I'm not so good with hotkeys. And sometimes I just like clicking buttons, like here with, but I know it's like 1, 2, 3 to change these up here. And R is rotate. I know that. Sometimes I just find it annoying. Like, I don't know. I do agree with you. I should be using hotkeys more. I bet it's so painful for some people to watch. Because I've definitely felt that. Like, you're watching someone, like, say someone navigate through Unreal Engine, and I'm like, oh my god, just why are you doing it that way? That's really annoying. You're supposed to be doing it this way. You kind of get that feeling. I bet some people who are very quick with Blender, who use like all hotkeys for absolutely everything, are looking at this thinking, it's just so inefficient. So inefficient. I don't think I do too bad, but no, I agree with you. You'll see me do things where I'm like, I could be a lot faster with. What am I doing here? It's like I always click up here for the snap, and I bet there's a button for it as well, and all that. A tiny bit quicker rotations, yeah. Yeah, the buttons work too. Shortcuts can be a pain. Shortcuts can be a pain. There are a ton. There's one for everything. There's no right. There's no right way of doing things. It's just. See, even then, I just clicked up there. I could have done it with a hotkey. This whole thing's like inverted for some reason. Oops, we don't want that. We want to flip. No, I get you though. It's just the way I work. It's just what I'm used to. And it needs to change. But I just don't have any will to change. That's looking a bit too deep to me. Okay. I think if we scale in the Z a little bit, then move it up, be a bit more shallow. And I have no idea why it's inverted, but we can flip it back. Seems to be like double line there. Oh, I see why. I'm so stupid sometimes. There we go. Hey. Okay. Did or do you use other 3D modeling software before or next to Blender? I tell you what, my first experience using 3D modeling was in CAD back in school, back in secondary school, and for Americans that's high school. When we were doing like CNC machines, like woodworking, or yeah, and you use like a CAD machine to cut something out, and that was using. They're almost like, I don't know what the terms are for them. They're not polygons though. That was the first time I used 3D modeling, and I was a whiz at that. I think if someone can tell me like where the buttons are on a piece of on a 3D software or a program, I can kind of suss it out, especially when it's very visual. But yeah, I would say like it was called Pro Desktop was the first 3D modeling experience I've ever had in my life on a computer. Pro Desktop, and then I used 3ds Max in university, where we did an art course, and that was for video games. I didn't take on 3D modeling after that. I did level design, which has very little 3D modeling. And then I worked on a game called Miscreated for 5 years. I want to say 5 or whatever. And I was working very closely with 3D modelers, and we'd used to do like screen shares, and I would watch them model stuff, and I already had some knowledge in my mind like how stuff would work, but they used to like talk about techniques and stuff together, and I'd listen in, and I tell you, they taught me everything. And then when I did Prop House, I learned Blender, and that's when I started learning Blender, was with Prop House, and that was 3 years ago. So I've been using Blender for 3 years. My first tutorial on it, and I know everybody does it, is make the donut. I knew how to 3D model. I knew what the fundamentals were. Someone just needed to show me where the buttons were. And after doing it every day for 3 years, I mean, this is the level I can do now. Yeah, I don't know. Is it... That's my experience. It's so funny because I'm not really from a 3D modeling background per se. Throughout my entire like career, if you want to call it that. I don't know. I only decided to do Prop House because I was an Unreal Engine marketplace, because I heard that people were making money on it, and I wanted a job where I could be my own boss, and I didn't have someone behind me who was responsible for like I just didn't want to have someone controlling me. So I wanted to do something that I wanted to do myself. And that's where this sort of idea born of just I'm sure I've talked about this in the past before. And there's no industry where I live. If I wanted to go work in a video game company, there's very little that do remote. Or if I've found that most people want to do hybrid. And let's say like the nearest big video game company would probably be like Manchester or Birmingham. And I don't want to be traveling to Manchester or Birmingham. I don't want to live in Manchester or Birmingham. I don't really like cities. I like the country air. That makes sense. God, where am I on these questions here? Danny also asks, do your level design skills help you in a lot with creating composition for your packs? Yes. My level design stuff does help with composition a lot. Some people are really good at it, even if they haven't done level design or anything else. Like some people are really good at composing like an image or like their scenes. For me, like it does help, and I have like a very good interest in like film as well, which does help with like setting up your shots, and if you're doing video as well, like setting up your cameras and your camera movement and direction and stuff like that. That all helps as well. I really love film, and I've done a lot of video editing in the past as well, and I still do video editing. Like if you look at my this YouTube channel, all the trailers and stuff for all the packs are all done by me. I learned how to use a sequencer, and yeah, and create these videos. And a lot of people just don't know how to do that. And a lot of people don't have that sense of you know what makes like a good video, what makes a good. I don't think mine are the best. Obviously, I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but if you've got some knowledge of it, it does help. It goes a long way. And I do have some friends who do work in film, even with like commercial. My brother works in commercials. Works on commercials, and a couple of friends who work and live in London, who do fashion, photography, and advertising as well. And I do ask their opinions sometimes. What makes like if it looks good or not, and I get some pointers of where to change and tweak and stuff. It's good to like lean on other people, especially in different fields and different industries. That can help. We've made a table. I was talking a lot, but we've made this table. I do think we should put it in Unreal Engine as a test. All my things should be in here, to be honest. Alright, let's see. Let's put it in our little test folder. We can hide that. Oh, I need to collapse them. I see there's another question. Hold on. Bear with me a second. Let me turn my head to... Oh, hi. There's somebody else in the chat. Welcome. If you've just joined, we're making a table. We're making a very expensive table. Anyway, it's almost there. We're just gonna... I know it's not UV'd or anything, and it's not clean or whatever. I'm just gonna import this into Unreal Engine to see what it looks like. Because there's no point in me finishing off the model, baking it, texturing it, and then put it into Unreal Engine and go, this looks wrong, or that's not the right size. Let's put it over there and see how it stacks up with the chairs and all the other furniture in the room. Because you're in a void right now. I'm not looking at anything else. We need to look at other things. We need to put this into perspective. But we will call it appropriately because we will replace the file afterwards. So we got old table 01. I'm going to throw a couple errors at me, but I'm just going to ignore them. We need our table. Import. Hey, damn, that's really expensive. It's a very expensive table, yeah. I was saying earlier that we should 3D print it. Aha! We have our table. Hey, it's not bad. It's a table. I'm not going to put the chair here. I think we'll have a table here. Maybe we'll put a cloth on it. I don't think I'll put the cloth in the same UV though. I think I'll do them as separate textures. Just because I want as much detail in the wood. Especially if I'm putting two props in there. It's quite hard to see. It must look really horrible on the stream because this is grey. This is like a greeny colour. So it's not really showing here. That's why I was like throwing them outside. Now, is he able to sit correctly? Maybe it's a little low. He's just got very chunky legs, isn't he, this guy? I think we raised it. So annoying. How much is that by? I wonder. Say 5 centimeters. If we raise it by 5 centimeters, we're good. UE guy got beef legs. Yeah, he's a chunky guy. The newer one's a bit more slender. I think he's called Manny. Yeah, he's called Manny. I don't know what the original mannequin is called. He's just mannequin. But if you make things that are generally like to the proportion of these, then you're good. It can be fudging a bit of like, because like if you do like real life measurements, sometimes it just doesn't look right. It can look a little off. You might have to like up it by 1% or 2 or 5 or even 10. There's a lot of questions coming in. I'm sorry, I'll answer you. I'm learning to make game ready assets. You're learning to make game ready assets. I mean, that's pretty great actually. I don't know if I'm the most educational channel. I mean, you can watch my methods and stuff, but I'm not explaining a whole lot of like great detail. But if you have questions and stuff, I'll try and answer them as well as I can. He just has to sit on the seat. Oh, he just has to sit and eat on the couch with them legs. He can't fit his legs under the table. How did you build the road? Says Casper. This is literally just pieces. They're just static meshes. I haven't. You can use like landscape splines with these, but these are just sections I've made. I can't remember how wide they are, but if you put it on like a meter grid, you could like. I know that this is going underground, but like they all snap along the meter grid, and then if you want to change like a piece to put like a turning or something, like you can. I mean, this is a different road, but yeah. I hope that makes sense. They snap together. And this road here, and this whole car park is just one model that I made in Blender. Because I wanted a very specific environment. I made it myself here. Because sometimes like making stuff like this in Unreal Engine, like by hand, with like spline tools and stuff, can be fine. but sometimes you're just wrestling with it. If you're making like a bespoke landscape for a bespoke thing, sometimes it might be best to just go, hey, I'm just going to model this out. It depends on your use case. If I needed to use that multiple times in multiple areas in like a massive world, then maybe I would make it like more modular. Like this road anyway. This is modular. It's so versatile. But I'm not using anything fancy for this. It's literally just me hand placing it instead of using the spline. But you could loft it on a spline if you wanted to. Did you make the materials in Substance Designer? I don't use Substance Designer because I'm not that clever. I use Substance Painter. For this car park though uses a combination of things. It's using the shader that it's used for the buildings. So it uses a mask that I paint in Substance Painter to define where puddles are, to define where cracks are. And then the road markings, like these, they're just planes with a decal shader on them. Like here, the road markings is just a decal shader, which I have loads of room on. So if I want to add like extra, like something that says stop or like, you know, give way or something, or bus lane, I could add it to this sheet. Yeah, because I don't think you can use vertex painting with Nanite like the way you want it to work. So I'm sort of like scouting around that by using masks. So I'm using an RGB mask for the road. So I believe that's the puddles. Or is that the puddles? I think that's the puddles. And then that's the cracks. And then that's, I think that's just AO at the end. And that's mapped to a second UV. So UV1 is tiling, UV2 is this. And that defines all those. And that's what I use for buildings as well, to have like all this dirt leaking and stuff like that. And like some damage on the bricks. And like some chips on the wood and stuff. And you can define where you want those. Using this shader. It's a bit complex. I mean, you could probably get the same effect by just, I don't know, using decals. Maybe. It's just because there's no vertex painting. There's no proper vertex painting. I mean, Will Foucher did show you can. It is possible to do vertex painting with Nanite. But it does it by the mesh in total instead of the instance of the mesh in the view, in the viewport, or in the level. A bit complicated explaining that. Do you make the materials? No, that's why we already read that one. Thanks for answering. It's no problem. It's very interesting to see. No problem. What files do I need to add into an asset I am selling? I'm assuming just an FBX is not enough, right? It depends where you're selling it. I sell on Unreal Marketplace, so they have to be in an Unreal format. And there's guidelines on their website to tell you what exactly they need, what you need to comply with. And like what folder structure you need and like what you need to include. So with my packs, you just got the U asset. And then the textures and the shaders and everything else. So you need to like comply with whatever storefront you're posting on. I think if you're doing like Sketchfab or TurboSquid or something, I think they have different guidelines. I'm only expert. I only know how to do. I've never done any other stores. I've only touched the Unreal store, and it has to be an Unreal format. But yeah, check out their guidelines and do a read up on it. It'll give you more information than I can probably ever give you off the, off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of the words. It's a very beautiful church, by the way. Thank you. I mean, I really want to be done with it. We're at the end. The building's done. Almost. There's a room up here that just goes to nothing. Because I haven't done anything up here in the tower. I'm not quite sure how I want to do that. Because there's no real references. I feel like I should just put like a loft with a ladder. But then just don't build it. I don't know. Is that lazy? It's probably lazy. But the building's, I'd say 99% complete. Like, you've even got the back rooms. A fake elevator. Doesn't really go anywhere, but it goes up here. But there's nothing inside it. I haven't made a shaft or anything. I'm whizzing too fast, but yeah. You've got all the rooms. And the back rooms. I was just thinking of just like filling this room with like all the props and all the detail, and this is what I'll show off the most. It just feels, I feel like I've gone too far into this. Like, that once I've done these props, I need to like concentrate on like the collisions and all the cleanup work that needs to be done to have it as a passable product, and then see where my feelings are with it then, and if I want to add more or just kick it out of the door. I'm just not quite sure yet. It's like, it's good like to know when to stop. And I don't know when to stop sometimes. What have we got? Did the change from UE4 to 5 change your workflow? I mean, yeah. I don't have to bake lighting anymore because Lumen does it all in real time. So concentrating on light maps was one thing, and Nanite has really changed the way I model now, because I can put so much more, like, I wouldn't put that much geo in all this. You don't have to create LODs either for it. It just all does it automatically. It's streamlined a lot of things, I feel. UE5's definitely streamlined a lot of things. I do find it very difficult to like wrestle with Lumen. But those shortcomings are not as bad as the shortcomings from baking lighting. Because when you bake lighting, it takes so much time to see your result. And then if you change something, you have to do it again. Yeah, it's just it's a nuisance, and this has made it easier. I'd say it's made it easier. It's made my life easier. Nice, thanks. I'll check the guidelines. Yeah, honestly, if you're gonna make models for any of these storefronts, check their guidelines. Find out and research what you need to do. Maybe even just download a pack that already exists. Like, download the one that already exists and look at like how they're doing their folder structure. Because if they're on the marketplace, then they're complying with it. That will help you immensely. It will help you a lot just to look at like what other people are doing and how they're doing how they're packaging their files. That will tell you exactly what you need. The herringbone floor looks great. Is that a technical term? I'm gonna Google that. I think you mean like the wood flooring. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think there's a material I got. I can't remember where I got this material from. Yeah, it's the type of flooring, isn't it? I always forget. I'm learning all these terms. It's so funny. I'm learning all these weird terms about buildings and the types of flooring and all sorts, really, that I'd never use in my normal day-to-day life. Yeah, I like it. It's sick. I'm really happy with this flooring. Yeah, but this uses a tileable texture. The stairs also use a tileable texture. Carpets use a tileable texture. The walls use a tileable texture. They're all tileable. You can swap them out. You can change that floor for whatever floor you want. I think we had. You could put like a carpet. It could totally change the look of the whole room. It's so easy to like change. If you wanted to put wallpaper on that wall, you could probably do that. Or you want to change the color of the walls, you can do that. You want to change the color of the wood, the paint on the wood, you can do that. It's pretty flexible. It's like that with like all the other building packs that we do, or that are on Marketplace as well. Not getting good visual feedback on what your bake looks like in UE4 is truly a cry worth. Yeah, it's so annoying getting like a speckly bake back and like looking at it and being like, there's an error here and I need to tweak the values. Ooh. Oh, hang on a second, guys. Someone is phoning me, so I'm going to answer this call. It might be very important, so I'll be back in a moment. Oh, sorry about that. It was spam. It was some sort of scam. Apparently, I can get 20% on my phone contract or some crap like that. You're not fooling me. What was I talking about? I absolutely forgot. Yes, that's the type of flooring. Yes, it is the type of flooring. I just Googled it as well, just to double check. Back to our table. So we put it in. We're happy with the scale of it. It looks great. We're going to work on our high poly. Even though it's already high poly. It's already quite high poly. But we're going to organize our Blender file because it's all junk. And we're going to split them between high and low poly. So I'm going to make 2 folders for the chair. Call it low poly. And we'll call this one high poly. And I'll probably do some sculpting on this and make this look better because this looks like junk, to be honest. So we're like chair butt. I'm sure there's technical terms for each part of the chair, but I like to name it whatever I can think of. It doesn't really matter as long as it's distinguished. My poly. So we're just making copies of each one. We want to get rid of that. And just want to subdivide it. Might need to weld some verts here. See, my model's quite dirty at the moment. I will go back to the low and clean up some things. Well, this is quite hard to see. I should hide some stuff. Just do that for now. Let's put some cut lines just to help it a little bit. Because sometimes if you don't put cut lines, you can see like kind of it bows a little bit, and we kind of want to keep it, retain its shape. So this just helps retain its shape more than well, just helps it retain its shape. I don't know what else I want to say about that. Sweet. Okay, that'll do for that piece. We'll just hide it. Let's do this leg so we can get that out of the way. Chair, leg, back, LP. All right, and then we want to. It's a very kind of process. Should have collapsed the curve so I can get rid of that. yeah, it's kind of a meh sort of process doing this, but it's quite necessary. Ooh, I need to fix this. So still, yeah, let's do that first. Because I haven't collapsed the curve of this, just in case I needed to edit it. But there's like a fly in my face, which is really irritating me. Get out of the way. Annoying. Sorry. I'm like distracted by a fly buzzing in my face. Yeah, just in case I needed to modify the curve, I kept it uncollapsed, and I wanted to collapse it and then fix this bottom by hand. There's not something easily done with a curve, so we're just gonna collapse that, and we want to make this sort of like go straight as best as I can. I don't know if this is gonna work the way I imagine, but I'm just sort of just gonna go like this, and then drag it down to the same level as this one. You put the snapping back on. That doesn't look right. We just want it back to the green line, I think. I think it's slightly twisted on the other way, which is hard to see with this picture behind us. We'll get rid of that. Yeah, it's slightly twisted. So we're gonna, again, I'm not using hotkeys, sorry. There, quite happy with that. Doesn't look too bad. Sweet, that'll do. Sure, there was another way of doing it, but I didn't want to wrestle with a computer. I just wanted to do it manually. Because you don't need to wrestle with a computer, you can just get on with it yourself. This is our high poly one. We can get rid of the weighted normal. We need to put it to smooth. We need to get a subdivision and do it by 3. It almost makes very little difference, but it definitely smooths out any kinks there might be, and it just gives you a much cleaner normal map, a much cleaner AO bake, and a much cleaner curvature bake. It'll just make the next process a lot easier. It'll make the texturing and everything a lot easier. Because I wouldn't put a subdivision mesh inside Unreal. You could. I just wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't. All right, we want like back, top. Let me just put chair back top. I don't just wonder if I'm going to put it all as the same FBX in the end. Okay, so we have a simple deform on this one. That's fine. We want a subdivision. I don't know if we need to put some cut lines down the sides here. I think we do, just in case. It's not bad. And this next one. What would you call that? Chair, back, supports, 01. And that's our low poly. Our very high low poly. Our nanite mesh low poly. Right. Let's do another subdivision. Now, I don't really need to put cut lines in this one because we want this smooth transition. It's pretty nice. Let's shade it smooth, yeah. Chair back support with 3. Just going through it all. It's not the funnest. Is funnest even a word? It's not the most fun process to go through, but it's necessary. Now we can get rid of the simple deform as well. Can we? Yeah. There we go. What's the best texture website? I use Substance Source because I have a subscription to Substance Painter. So if you go to that and then you can just, I want some wood. And then you've got their wood. This is the one I primarily use. I would sometimes go on to Megascans because it's free with Unreal Engine. You get some really nice textures with Megascans, but you have to, like, if it's Substance Painting, you have to like manually create the material with these. But they have some really good ones. But only certain materials I'll use from here. Obviously, I won't use their 3D assets. I like surfaces. You know? It depends what program you use. If you're using Substance to paint, use Substance materials mostly. That's what I do. I don't go anywhere else, really. It's because of licensing terms mostly. If I'm going to sell these on. Obviously, I modify them to a degree that complies with it. But yeah, that's what I use. I only use Blender. You only use Blender to do everything in it. I use 3 programs. Blender is just, for me, Blender is just to create the model. That is all, and do the model and UV in. That is it. And then it'll be Marmoset to bake because I think it's a better baker than you can do that in Substance, but Marmoset is just so much cleaner, nicer. But it's an additional luxury you'd have to pay for. And Substance Painter is just so nice. So nice to work with. I mean, it has a few annoyances, but it's so nice to work with. Yeah, modeling, baking, creating textures, etc. all in Blender. I know you can do it all in Blender. It's just, I feel like these other programs do it better. Is there a painter in Blender? Can you paint? I'm terrible at creating textures. Look, I would tell you just to look into using Substance. Just have a look at it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched me use it. I mean, if you've ever seen me use it, it's so simple. If you just say, oh, that bit's wood, and that bit's metal, and that bit's leather, and this bit's this, and this bit's that, and then it's like, apply a dirt to it. Let's mask that bit. Let's chip this bit. Let's layer it with another texture, and then you combine it all down, and it puts you in all the correct maps. And oh, it's a lifesaver. I couldn't imagine doing it the way you're doing it. It's quite. I'd imagine it's quite cumbersome unless there is tools in Blender that I don't know about. Because this is as far as I go. Model, UV in, and then I know there's like a huge. It's like the picture of an iceberg where you see the top, and then underneath there's like a huge bit of the iceberg underneath. I'm only on the top. I don't really. I just have no reason to delve into anything else. I know some people can't like afford all these other programs because they do cost money. There's a subscription fee tied to both of them, really. I think it's like £15 for Substance a month, and then it's £10 for Marmoset a month. And I know you could do texture in Marmoset, but I don't want to do that. I just like them for different reasons. But that's, to me, that's an expense for my business. That's my job. So if I want the tools to make my job easier, I'll buy those tools to make it easier. I have no worry about that. But if you're a hobbyist, maybe it's not so financially viable. Like, do you want to be paying £15 a month to use a program? It depends. Okay, that's pretty neat. We'll do that last. What else do you say? Substance is fantastic. The perpetual license is a blessing. Oh, do you have like one that you've got forever? I pay monthly. I know my friend has one like on Steam that he's got forever. I can't remember how much he paid for it. Like, no, I don't think it was that expensive. But yeah, I think you can just buy it outright and keep it forever. I don't mind paying a recurring fee, getting updates, that kind of thing. It's fine. I've seen other people, but I don't want to pay this for subscriptions. That's my problem, though. Yeah. I mean, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, it is the issue. It's nice that Blender's free. If you use an alternative, they cost hundreds of pounds a year. I'm so grateful for Blender. It's just the best. To me, it's just like the best tool, and it's so versatile. And if you have an issue, there's someone already knows the solution. It's not hard to find. It's so good. Sweet. Still plowing through all these things. Chair, bottom. Just giving them generic names. What else are we saying here? Yes, on Steam indeed. It was 140 euros right now. Do they have a Steam version still? 140 euros is not too bad, actually. It sounds expensive all up front, though, doesn't it? But if you consider that I pay £15 a month over a year, you know, times that by 12, you know, you're there, aren't you? So like a one-off payment for it, and you keep it forever. It kind of weighs up, but not everybody has £140 they want to spend, or €140 even. I don't mind. I this is kind of delving into because this is a business that I run. Like selling assets on marketplaces is my business, is my job, it's my full-time job. Part of doing that is to have like recurring expenses, just for because you can do it for tax reasons. You can do it. You can expend your tax, or your. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an accountant, but every business has expenses which they put against their tax. So instead of paying more money to tax, you can use that tax money for things that contribute to your business, such as tools, programs, hardware, and everything else. So I don't. For me, to pay the subscription it doesn't matter. It's probably smarter instead of a one-off payment. Anyway, what am I doing here? Chair bottom support 01. Chair bottom support 01. Put a shaded smooth on that. And yeah, I mean, running business is different in each country. Taxes are different in each country. You have to pay taxes if you're earning something from something. Unless you're a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I don't want to get told off. I see it. Chair bottom support. I'm going to... 2. I prefer one-time buy products, and I'll consider substance if it's possible. Yeah, I mean, Danny just said it's on Steam. It's like the Steam version. Oh, you get the latest version. So you can get 2023. I'll drag it over here. There we go. So it's £125, £126 here. I wonder what you get then. So you must just get 20. You'll get free updates to Steam at the end of 2023. Okay, so in the next year, you'll get like a whole year of updates. That's not too bad. It works out cheaper. Obviously, with a subscription, you'll get updates indefinitely as long as your subscription lasts. But yeah, that's pretty sick. Because it's a very robust tool as it is now. I can't... There's been like... The updates have been sort of minimal. Or to a degree that I don't use them as like all the new features. You can get away using what's in this for a very long time. It's so useful. I just love just getting the material and just being like, yeah, that's just so... These look very complex though. Look at that. They're using like UDIMs or something. Great program. Can't recommend it enough. If you're making 3D models and you want to texture them, that is the program. In my eyes, in my opinion. What else do you say? I like there's a lot of chatter today. That's really nice. I'm a freelancer as well. In my country, you need to work nearly full time to be able to use tax write-offs. Is it the same in the UK? I don't think it just goes off how much you're earning, like your tax threshold. I could be working at this job like an hour a week if I wanted to and be earning the same amount of money. I could still use it. It will only write off like 20% of each expenditure, if that makes sense. So I won't pay VAT, I think. That's how it works. So it's usually about 20% of each thing. So like my substance subscription will be 20% cheaper. And that's how the tax write-offs work. If I was to hire someone like a contractor, then that's an expenditure. Now I won't have to pay tax on how much I pay them, if that makes sense. Because the company, it goes from like gross income, and that's an expenditure from that. I believe that's how it works. And then like anything I purchase, it's only the VAT that's deductible, which is about 20% of it. And that's how it works in the UK. Doing the job, how many hours is not applicable. It's about the amount of money you make. I think it's like up to 25,000. It's a certain amount of percent, and then it go beyond that. I think if you're earning like 40 or beyond, it almost doubles it. I can't remember exactly. Again, I'm not an accountant. I have my own accountant, which is really wise to do if you've got your own business. Even if you're doing like Twitch streaming and you're making a living off it or something, I pay somebody to do your taxes and deal with that, because then you can focus more on being good at what you do and don't need to worry about all these. You don't need to worry about making mistakes, for one, and you pay them to save you money. It's just wise. Just a little insight on business there. But it's a real thing you have to deal with if you're doing something like this for a living, or anything, or being self-employed. It's something you have to consider. You join these together. What's this called again? LP. I think I've got some more questions there. I'll read it in a second, guys. Hold on. So what's going to happen when the free updates end? Will it no longer be compatible with other programs? No, it'll be compatible with other programs. It'll work just as it has always worked. You literally just the export you export from Substance will be a generic file type, like, you know, like a PNG, a JPEG, a TARG, a PSD or something, whatever. It's, you know, and they're universal. They're backwards compatible. This is what I'm saying. You just won't get any if they make like a new feature or something for Substance. You just won't get that. That's what happens if you get the perpetual license. I believe that's what will happen anyway. You won't be like locked out or something. But if there's like a new tool inside it, you won't have access to it. I believe that's how it works. That's it. I'm moving to the UK. If you don't mind the rain. It's very cloudy today. I thought, you know, I just assumed it's quite similar in every country, isn't it? With taxes, with businesses. You think about like I always put quite a lot of things up against like my business, like anything you can get away with, because it's either something that benefits you and your business, or it's money that you're going to give to the government. You know, if you need to buy a new computer or something, it's the tools that provide you your living. So if you want the best, probably get the best. I don't know. Everybody thinks about this differently. I think of it as like, this is my bread giver, so I'll use the money effectively for that. I think I've gone on a weird tangent about that. Oh, I see. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. Oh, I'm Dutch. We get it too. Haha, the rain. Oh. I don't know how it works over there in Holland, in the Netherlands. Beautiful country, by the way. I've been a couple times. What am I calling this? Little chair. leather. I've lived in abroad before, actually, and the only thing that changed about tax was how much you pay. And I lived in Germany for 3 years, and I was a freelancer. I just lived there because it was fun, and I had some friends there, and I wanted an experience. Their taxes were just ridiculous. It was so eye-watering. But you can tell, like, the country was very clean and everything was tidy and organized, and everybody did everything to the book, and everyone had, like, their forms and stuff they sat behind. It's a beautiful place to live. Very expensive. The UK is a good, like, middle ground. The only thing I don't like about this country is just, like, mostly the weather. I like hot climates. This summer was just not fun. It was raining all summer. I think I'll go abroad next summer. Alright, let's keep that like that for now. We're almost done this chair. I think we need to combine all these. So I'm going to collapse. Do I want to? I'm thinking. We kind of do, don't we? What a nuisance. We'll think about it. Just thinking like how we're going to UV these and how these are going to fit into our texture. If I just do one or I do all of them, what's best? I don't know. Let's do all of them for now. Rivets? Is it a rivet? Don't know what you call that. I'm going to call it a rivet. Yeah, Germany's great. They have fantastic castles as well. Yeah, they do. We have some castles here, but they're not as grand as them. A good excuse for a reference collection trip, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. I've never made... that'd be kind of a fun project. Some medieval castles. So intricate, though. I think if I was going to do a castle or something, I'd incorporate like photo scans and then remodel the photo scans and then retexture them and incorporate them into like details as how I would do them, because there's so many intricate like sculptures and things, but I don't even know if you can source that so easily without having like very good access to them. This is why I've probably avoided it. Anyway, there's my high poly of a chair. It looks very close to the low poly, I would say. But it just smooths out the rough areas, if there is any. It'll give us a cleaner bake in the end. We've got to do the same for the table. And then we got to decide on how we're going to UV it correctly and pack it. Because I do want to pack both of them in the same texture space instead of doing them separate. I just don't know if that's going to work out the way I think it's going to work out, but we'll try. That's clever if you think. I think if you would hand sculpt those walls, you would be sculpting for a year. Yeah, that's one thing. What I would probably do, I would just like retopologize like a photo scan. Like, that's just how I would do it because it's so intricate. And then I'd use like the photo scan as like a high poly for a bake. I'm not very good at. I'm not really an expert of photo scanning. I do have like equipment to do it. I have like a DLSR. I have used reality capture before, which is a really nice tool. But I'm not like the greatest with it. Anyway, what else were we saying here? And it's looking good. Thanks. The chair is looking good. If only I could print it. It looks like a chair. Okay. Actually, we're running a little bit later than I thought we'd be running today. So it's lunchtime. So I should be going for lunch. I think I'll complete the high poly of the table later today after lunch. But I'll be doing that off stream. I only stream in the mornings. Yeah, I don't know what else I wanted to say about that. I only stream in the mornings. I'll come back tomorrow and you'll see where I got up to. But hopefully I've got this model high polyed and then hopefully at least finished or started the UV by the end of the day. But we'll see how I do for time. But I will be going for lunch now and ending the stream for today. But thank you for joining us because it's actually been quite fun today. There's a lot of conversation going on and I quite like that. I don't mind answering and talking about anything you guys bring up. It's quite fun to engage with. Otherwise, it's just me, Bob Ross, in this. Just talking into the microphone about what I'm clicking on. Yeah, so for the rest of this project, I've only listed a couple. I'm not the most organized person. Granted that. I've only put down like a few props that I do want to finish. The table and chair being one of them. And then I'll just see like how much that fills out the rest of this. But I do think I should start considering doing the collision primitives for everything. I haven't touched collision primitives on anything yet, which is kind of worrying because you know, I'm making so many files that I have to go back on and then re-export with collision primitives. A lot of them are easy though. Like this could be a cube. They could be auto-generated in the engine, which is not too bad. But like stuff like the building itself would have to be done by hand. I did get a tip to use a tool called Collider Tools. I haven't used this before, but it essentially allows you to just like click on an element and then just like add a collision box, and it's already named. But that's something I'd probably be using. I've never used it before, but we'll try it. We'll try it. Excuse me. But there's a lot to go through. I don't know how detailed we want the collision on this, for example. Probably not so. But yeah, every model needs a collision. And that will take a long time, and I'm probably gonna feel it. But I'm quite happy the way it's going. It's getting there. Slowly getting there. Cheers, thanks for sharing your knowledge. Have a nice meal. Thank you. Thanks for dropping by. Again, I should be back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, around the same time. Unless something comes up, but I'll probably let that be known. And we'll continue with this. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so on Tuesday next week, my dad is visiting me, and then we're flying out together to go for the Christmas break, because it's Christmas soon. I can't believe it's Christmas. I don't really have many decorations up. I don't have children, so I don't feel it completely necessary, so I'm not really in the jolly mood. I'm just looking forward to spending time with family and friends, and that is really it. Yeah. So from Tuesday next week, I'm busy with that. Maybe I'll have time to stream, but I wouldn't guarantee it. And then I'm away for 3 weeks. I will be taking my computer with me. I have my travel computer. So once Christmas is done, I'll probably be working from Italy, so I won't have like all the flashy setup. So I don't think I'll be streaming either. If I was going to stream from Italy, it will be in a crappy headset, and I'll probably sound tinny and awful. So I don't know if I'll do that or not. So yeah, back tomorrow. Don't know what else to say. I never know how to end these things. I never know how to say goodbye, and I end up just rambling. Casper says, "See you, mate. Christ bless you." Thanks. Yeah, have a good day. Have a good day. That's that weird. Have a good day, and see you tomorrow. Enjoy. Bye bye.